I'm Brian Briscoe, host of the Diary of an Apartment Investor podcast. And this podcast is different than everything else out there. I bring together a new and an experienced investor on each episode, and I let the aspiring investor ask the questions that they need answered. So if you're an aspiring investor yourself, you probably will have the exact same questions. Now, before we get to this episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and that little bell to make sure you get notified every time we post a new episode. And now, enjoy the show. This is the Diary of an Apartment Investor podcast, and I am your host, Brian Briscoe. So today we're going to talk about 4 reasons that you should focus on raising capital before finding deals. Now, it obviously takes both raising capital and finding deals to close on properties, but I'm going to use the next couple of minutes to try to convince you to place a little bit more emphasis on the raising capital side. Now, when I started in the multifamily investing space, 4 years ago, it was 2018, I was involved in one of the pay-to-play multifamily, masterminds. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you should know that I put air quotes around the word mastermind, right? So it was that particular mastermind was barely more than the blind leading the blind. Nobody who was really active in the group had any considerable experience in multifamily investing, but they were giving advice on what you should do and how you should do it. Anyway, the entire group, like I said, was just blind leading the blind. And the general consensus among the group was that if you found a good deal, the money will come. Now, I bring this up to point out some of my missteps early on. First of all, I let a bunch of people that hadn't accomplished anything significant in the industry convince me that I could safely look for deals without worrying about where the capital is going to come from. Because like I said, if the deal is good enough, the money's going to be easy to find. Well, we found a pretty good deal and we struggled. We struggled to raise the capital. Now, fast forward, a couple of years later, my partners at Four Oaks Capital and I have now closed on, 10 properties and raised over $15 million in the process. Now, looking back, I wish I had focused a little bit more on the capital raise up front because we would have grown a lot faster, which, in 2018, 2019, quite frankly, the way the property values have appreciated in the last couple of years, we could have bought anything in those years and done extremely well. But anyway, here are my top 4 reasons for focusing on raising capital up front. And since you can't really raise capital until you have a deal, what I'm talking about more is, building relationships with potential investors. All right. So reason number 1, having access to capital will actually get you better access to deals. Here's the reality for all of you, quote unquote, deal finders out there. Brokers talk with hundreds of aspiring investors every single month. And the brokers know what it takes to qualify for commercial loan and close on a property. And they also know how much cash you're going to be required to bring to the closing table to be able to close on any given property. If you don't have access to that capital, your offer, no matter how high it is, isn't going to compete with another group that does have access to the capital. And quite frankly, a lot of the brokers aren't even going to spend time with you if they don't think you have a serious chance of raising money for a deal. Simply put, you are a big risk to that broker, and they're just not going to spend the time with you. Okay, reason number 2, let's say you do get a deal under contract and then you start raising the capital. Well, raising capital on a tight timeline makes an already stressful situation even more stressful. In many cases, you have 60 to 90 days to close, and there's a lot to get done during that time. Now, like I said, the philosophy of, if you have a good deal, the money will come. If you wait till you've underwritten the deal, gotten your offer accepted, and then conducted due diligence to be able to say, yes, this is absolutely a good deal, you're going to be scrambling with 30 to 40 days to get to the closing table, get the loan taken care of, and raise capital. That's a stretch, and that's going to turn it into an extremely stressful situation. Now, number 3, tight timelines and the SEC regulations don't mix well, right? So assuming you're doing a 506B, there's SEC rules that you must follow, including you have to have a pre-existing relationship with all of your investors before making the offering. Now, some attorneys, counsel you to have a 30-day cool-off period. Others say you need a certain amount of touches with the investor before you can present them the offering. But regardless, it's much easier to manage the SEC timelines and touches with potential investors if you don't have a big looming deadline right in front of you. Now, finally, if you've waited to the last minute, and this is reason number 4, if you're keeping track, if you've waited to the last minute to raise capital, it could put you in a situation where you may lose your risk capital if you fail to finish the raise, and you may become a little bit desperate. And you never want to try to raise money when you're desperate. People can sense your desperation, and it's going to push them further and further away. They're going to have their hand on their pocketbook to keep it away from you instead of on their pocketbook to give you money. And it may also lead you to employ some various other tactics that can damage relationships instead of build them. So those are the 4 reasons that I have. End of the day, your deal flow is going to be limited by the amount of capital that you can raise. And more capital means bigger deals. So if you're struggling to raise capital, hey, guess what? We are also launching a course inside our Tribe of Titans multifamily investing community to help you do just that. And it's going to be limited to 12 people. You heard me, 12 people. It's going to be limited to the first 12 people who sign up. And it's going to be a course that I will personally teach to those 12 individuals on how to raise capital. And what's more, members of the Tribe of Titans are going to have the first opportunity to be one of those 12. So if you are at all interested in the course, click the link to the Tribe of Titans in the show notes. Get yourself a free 30-day no risk membership to the Tribe of Titans and send me a message telling me you're interested. I'll respond and I will save you a seat. So that said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to today's episode, and stay tuned because we have another great episode coming out on Friday that you're not going to want to miss. And while you're at it, check out our YouTube channel. We got a lot of good stuff on the YouTube channel that can help you learn more about investing in apartments. Hey, if you like that episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, if you haven't joined our multifamily educational community, the Tribe of Titans, yet, you are missing out. So get yourself 30 days free by clicking the link below in the description, or go to thetribeoftitans.info, and we'll see you there.